Hello, everybody. So today I'm coming to you with the bonus class for February, and I chose the Like an Animal DSP, and you're going to make 4 projects. Technically, you're going to make 5, and I'll show you those in just a minute. So I actually got this paper free when I went to Onstage this last November, and I pretty much looked at it and thought, not my style. However, I had seen somebody altering this paper, and then it gave me, the light bulb came on, and it gave me some great ideas. So what I did is decided to use this as the bonus class because I felt like it was a way for you guys to alter this paper using our blending brushes and any color you want, honestly. I chose 2 different color combinations here, and I'm going to show them both to you. And I picked the blue colors with the silver, but I also did one with greens with the gold that I will show you. But I think I'm going to do the cutting for the blue for the monthly club. Haven't decided that yet, but by the time you watch this video, you'll already know. So, because I'm working ahead this month, at least for right now I am. Anyway, here's my projects. So I'm going to move this out of the way, but these are basically basic gray, early espresso gold, and Sahara sand. And then there's like the silver tint of each design too. So, but like I said, they weren't necessarily my kind of paper or style of paper, but so remember this wonderful little fun fold that you do with the 12 by 12 piece of paper. I'm going to refresh you on that we've done it before, and we've done it in some classes, and it's one of my go-tos that I come back to every now and then. I have a couple of them that I really like that are easy, and they're like no glue, no adhesive, no cutting. We're just scoring and folding, and I think these are awesome. So this particular one, I used Balmy Blue and Tahitian Tide, and I layered most of everything with the Tahitian Tide. The one I'm going to make today, we're going to do blues, but I'm going to layer with the Balmy Blue. I kind of felt like this was almost a little too bright for some of it. So I decided to do the Balmy Blue. But then when you open it up, we've got our note cards in here. So we're going to make one using the floating strip technique. And I did change it up. I actually stamped the phrase and then embossed this with the Timeless Tile, I think it's called. Just to add some texture to the background. I felt like it was a little blah. And of course, we're going to decorate the envelopes. Second card, excuse me, I used what strips I had left over, die cut our phrase, and then we used the Balmy Blue ribbon there. So there's 2 of them. Third card, just cut a piece of the DSP, and I die cut this shape out of, I can't think of what this one's called. These 2 came out of the same place. But just simple, decorate the envelope, simple cards. This one, I cut off a strip of it. Why? I don't know. I just felt like it looked different. I liked it. I had first thought about maybe putting the DSP here, but I didn't like that there, and I kind of just kept it short in the front. So, and then we're just die cutting the shapes and stamping. Very, very simple cards, but what a cute little pack we're putting together here. And of course, you know, they just tuck right in here. And this would be a great little gift to give somebody, office worker, postal person, your favorite bartender at La Hacienda. She gets a lot of stuff from me. Anyway. Now here, so this is the Balmy Blue and Tahitian Tide version, and then I just tied this with the bow as it wrapped around. And I went back to, did you forget all about our basic pearls? Haven't used them in so long, but I used them with this, and I thought they worked great. Okay, move this one aside. This is Soft Succulent Evening Evergreen with the gold patterns, which I thought turned out just as pretty, if not prettier, I'm not sure. And then I used these gold faceted adhesive backed gems, and which I didn't know until I opened it that they had little moons in here. I didn't use any of the moons, but I couldn't quite figure that out, what the moons were all about. But again, I did the same exact cards, but this just shows you how much different it can look. And look, it fell over into my ink pad. I couldn't believe I did that. But as you can see here, I embossed the background of this one. And again, decorated the envelopes. Here's this one. And then here's these two. Same exact cards, just using the gold with the greens. Very rich. This one looks very rich to me, you know, just, I don't know, it's got that richy feel. I think it's the color combination, the gold with the greens. Okay, so I'm going to put these aside. I'm actually going to bring the blue one out so that I can kind of go back to it so I know what I'm doing. Now, the first thing we're going to do, and I have a few things ready here that I have already die cut, blended. I've done most of my blending on the paper, but I'm going to finish it here, and then we're going to score our 12 by 12. Now, I already did the back side, and I did Balmy Blue and then added Tahitian Tide. This does take a lot of arm work because you are doing a lot of blending here on a 12 by 12 piece and then all the pieces here. So it does take a lot of blending. And I did have to refill my ink pad more than once because we are using a lot of ink because we're covering a big space. So as you can see here, I'm going to finish what I'm doing here. I did most of it. Now, because this is foil paper, you can go back and buff it if you want. I didn't buff any of it off, but you certainly could. I don't know that it would matter. It's really only soaking up the ink in the debossed areas, really. It's kind of like, it's not embossed paper, but it's just got foil and then it's got the paper. So it's a combination of both, I guess is what you could say. Now I might grab a tissue here or paper towel and then wipe it off just to see if there's any difference. I don't think there is. And you can see on here, I've got some lighter areas, darker areas. Sky's the limit. So that gives you an idea of how that looks. Let me just grab a paper towel real quick. And I'm just going to buff it off and like see if we have any, and not even much is coming off. See, just very little. So it's not bad. Now I see that this is a little light right here in this corner. So I am going to go ahead and add a little bit more there. Okay. Now, what we're going to do, here's my little template that I've had floating around for forever. I'm going to open it back up. And then I'm going to bring in my scoreboard. And we're going to score this together. Because you're going to get a full pack of this paper. So you're going to be able to pick which piece you want to use as your holder. So we're going to score at 2. I remember with DSP, you always use the wider tip. 5 3/4. 6 1/4. And 10. And then we're going to turn it. And we're going to score at 3 3/4. And 9 1/2. Just making sure here. Okay. That's it. There's all our score lines. Oops. I'll pick that up later. As long as I don't trip over it. So there's our score lines. Now, I always go back to my template so I can make sure I don't mess up. So we're going to have it laying like this. So we have just like this. And you could flip it either side. It doesn't matter because you can flip it around even after you put it together. Okay. Now we're going to go and we're going to fold in. Well, first you're going to burnish. You're going to burnish all these score lines. And depending on how much pressure you put down when you were scoring, because some DSPs are a little bit thinner than others, you might have to like help it along here. I could have put a little bit more pressure or went back over it again. And I noticed that some of these papers in this pack, this one, the one I did here, this one is a little bit thicker than all the others. I'm not sure why. but it is. So we're just going to burnish all of these folds really good here. Okay, and then we'll get these on this end. Okay, now I am going to, I always kind of put it like my sample just because then I don't get confused. So I have it like this right now. And this is, no, we want it this way, sorry. This is the two inside little folds right here. That's going down the middle. Skinnier here, wider here. It doesn't really matter. But what we're going to do is take in these sides right here, and we fold this corner into that line. And we do it on each one just like that. Fold this corner in to this line. And you can use your bone folder to tighten that. Then we flip it around and we do the same thing here. And do the same thing here. Okay. Then we take this and fold it in like this. Now, if you decide once you put this together, oh, you want the other paper in a different, you know, one side or the other, up, down, all you got to do is open it up and refold it, and I'll show you. Okay. So there's that part. Now we're going to take this. Whoops, sorry. So we have it like this. I don't want to confuse you. We flip it over. This goes here. Come on. This goes here, and all you do is tuck this little tabs in right there. And you can either fold it this way. I like doing it like this. I like having these long, which these are technically pockets. You could do something with these if you really wanted to. But I like having these pockets on the inside. And this pocket, the other long vertical pockets on the outside. Okay, so there we go. There's that part right there. There's our little note card pouch, if you want to call it that. And here's my little sample. And I keep this sample in my little box of ideas. Okay, so there we go. There's that part. Now, to decorate the front, so here's what the front of ours is. Simple, simple, simple. We are going to take one of these little dies that I've already cut and one little circle. And I just stamped the just because in, when I did this one, I used Tahitian Tide, but this time I'm going to use Balmy Blue. Like I said, I felt like see, I got ink on my finger there. I need to make sure I wipe that off. There we go. Okay. The Just Because is from the Lovely Use stamp set. And it'll all be in the instructions. I use like several different stamp sets. Now, it is bigger than this circle, but you're just cutting off the little curly cues on the ends. I could come over a little bit, but it's fine. Okay, there's that. There was a heart left over. This is going to go on here like this. And then I'm going to add some dimensionals. I think I need to raise my camera up just a little bit because right now it's like right in my eyeballs almost. I mean, I can definitely see what I'm doing, which is nice, but it might be a little low. Okay, there's our dimensionals. Now, we are using the Balmy Blue ribbon. Here it is. And we're going to use, what I do, I'll tell you how much, I'll measure it here in a second. I just kind of wrap it around and make sure I have enough to tie a bow in it, not just a knot. So it's about 20 inches. Okay, so we've got that. I lay it out. And I come across and then I just line these two up. And then what I do is grab some glue dots and you take your pick tool. I have to find my take your pick tool. I think it's in my box. I just put one right there and then I flip it over and I put one on the back side. This kind of stops the ribbon from moving around too much until you get something down in the front. And the back, I just put one on here. Just right there, just to hold it, okay? So there's that. And then all we're gonna do is put our circles on the front, right here in the middle. And then we're gonna add some bling. Now, if you look at this one, versus this one, see I flipped it a little different. So here's our shiny side. This one, the shiny side's here. Shiny side inside, shiny side out here. I could have unfolded it and redone it. Either way works. Can't say I like one better than the other. They both work, so. All right, and this is the outside of it. Excuse me. I have so many little cut ones that are falling apart and coming off. They're probably from classes left over. So I am going to take, put one there, put one there, and let's see. I'm going to put one there, and then I'm going to look for some of the little ones. And I'll do this little bit like this. Yeah, that one's a little close. There we go. Actually, I don't like that. I'm going to move it up here. There we go. I think I want a couple more on here. They're sticking to my fingers. I'm trying to use the same size, so there we go. No, that's a bigger one. I'm just looking for one more here. There we go. Here's one. Let's go over here. There we go. Okay. And there's our outside of it all ready to go. Okay, we're going to set this aside. Now, the first one we're going to do is the floating strip technique. Now, I already have one done and ready, and we've done this before, but I'm going to show you just so you know how to put these on. Now, you're going to get a piece of acetate that's 4 by, I just cut it 4 by 6. It's just easier to cut the acetate directly in half. And you'll be able to die cut several shapes out of it. And then all we're going to do, first you're going to cut, well, I cut like about a 2-inch piece off of the DSP, and I did my blending, just like we've been doing. All of these have been blended. So you're going to add your balmy blue and your Tahitian tide to the let's say 2-inch strip. You could cut it 2.5. It's just easier to blend on a wider strip than it is cutting all these first and then blending. That's why I blended first. Then I cut the strips at 1/2 inch, and the length needs to be just a couple are right at the 4 1/4 or 4 inches, excuse me, 1/2 inch by 4 inches. Then you have nothing hanging over here. And if you're fine with that, then you can just get 3 from it. Otherwise, you're only going to get 2 and then some leftover, but that leftover could be used somewhere else. So I don't worry too much about it. Then you lay out your pattern. I did all of the 3 different patterns that are in the silver and then also in the gold. There's 3 different patterns for each one. I picked the predominant one that I wanted to like show more of, and I picked in this particular, the silver pattern ones, I picked kind of the excuse me, the spotted ones, because I felt like you had more ink behind there and it kind of stood out a little more. And then I just layered them out, kind of how I wanted my pattern to go. These I've already glued down, and then I'm going to show you how I do it. I always leave, if they're long enough, I leave like a little tab at the end to kind of hold on to. If you cut them right at the 4 inches, then you're going to have to be careful with your fingers. Sorry, you're going to see the top of my head, just so I can see what I'm doing. And I just leave a little gap. I don't measure, I just eyeball it. And then you're going to fill up this whole sheet doing that. Okay? So I'm going to move this aside because I don't need to finish that. And then what you end up with is this, if I can find it. Here they are. Now, out of that 4x6 piece, this time I went a little bit smaller. Like, here, let me pull this one out for you. So this one is the bigger stitched. This time I went a little bit smaller. But out of that, you can cut several different, excuse me, several different circles, hexagons. Excuse me. I'm going to get a drink of water. Just one sec. I had forgot to bring my tea in, but luckily I had a bottle of water here. So out of that piece, you can cut as many as you want. Fill it up, use up that space. And then I've already stamped my phrase, and then I embossed it with the Time Worn 3D embossing folder. That's what it's called. Okay, and now this time, let's see what I'm going to do. I might put... Now, our space is kind of limited here as to how many we can put on because, we're working with the note card, so it is smaller. But we can maybe do this time instead of just doing one. I kind of like the one in this particular size. I feel like this is a good, either this size or the bigger one, a good size for the note cards. All right, now we are just going to add dimensionals, and you're only adding dimensionals behind the strips. You don't want to add it so you can see it on the other side. Because remember, this is a clear piece of acetate here, so you don't want your dimensional to show through there. Okay. Now this little section, boy, I am having problems here clearing my throat today. There we go. If your little section here is really skinny, then you might have to cut these down a little bit, which is how I had to do it before. Okay, then we just pop all your covers off the dimensionals. one more. There we go. And I just literally popped that down just like that. And then what we're going to do is add some bling. And I'm going to use the little bling. Well, I could use that side now. I'll just use the little ones. And you can put as many or as few on as you want. I think it kind of adds to it. Well, if you can get them off. This one's trying to... Oh, I don't think that one had sticky left on it. What the heck? They're trying to pop off here. There. There we go. There's our first one. So there's the difference. Size, color, embossed, plain. So you don't have to emboss it. Just remember, you have to stamp your phrase first and then emboss it. Now, if you were to emboss it and then you forget that you didn't stamp it, you could go back and stamp it afterwards. Just use the Stamparatus. That way, if it doesn't stamp in all those little grooves the first time, you can make it work the second time. Okay, first card. Now I am going to, we'll do the envelopes at the end. So here's the second card. So I thought, oh, I have like all these strips left over. Let's just make another card with it. Now these strips are the 1/2 inch by, let's see what I did them at. Right about 4.5. So, excuse me. Let's see what I have here. Let me pull out my note card here. And these come pre-scored, but you do have to really, it's a very light pre-scoring, honestly. So you really have to like burnish it good. Okay. So 4.5. Let me see what I have. I'm going to have to cut some of these. And I want them all the same. These are all a little short. 4. I don't think I want to go. I think 4 is too short. So I want to do the 4.5. So we're going to cut this one. And I may not have, oh, let me see what I have here. This one. And maybe this time it'll be a little different. 4. I've got that one. I've got a lot of that one pattern. I don't have very many of this pattern. I only have shorter ones. Oh, there's one. I don't think that's long enough. Nope, that's only 4. 4. And then this one we're going to cut. So I may have to do just a little bit of blending here to come up with another pattern if I want to put them all on there, which I kind of do. So let's see what we have left. If I have any of this left. I've used a lot of this paper. I may not have enough left. Yeah, that's only going to be 4.25. Let me see if I have another sheet of that. I don't think I do. So we're going to go with what we got, which is fine. I always make it work. Let me see what I have here. I had, oh no, that's, nope, those colors. Okay. I think these are the right length though. All right, well, we are going to make it work. I'm just going to use the other 2 colors. Let's see what these are. 4.5, yeah. I probably don't even need to cut this one. I'm going to put that aside since I had some other, oh yeah, I do. I have to cut the other ones. So I have 1, 2, 3, because you want 5 strips. So we're going to do this. I'm going to do it like this. This will be our predominant one this time, just like that. So I need to cut these. You want them all the same length. Well, I say that, but they don't have to be. You could stagger them. And those are all the same already. I just wanted to make sure. These two I'm going to just cut at 4.5. Four and a half. Okay. Now, I don't measure. I lay it out. So I can't remember what, I think this is the pattern I was going to do. This, no, we're going to go this, 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 and this. Okay. And all I'm going to do is kind of lay this out. Now, if you want, you can start from each end so that your gap at the end, if you look at one of mine, I kind of got my gap ended up bigger at this end when I finished, but you really don't notice it. And again, I'll use mono glue to glue down these strips. So it's really just fussing around right here, kind of lining them up. And I like that. I'm kind of good with that. I think it works. I'm just going to pick one of them up. Again, put our glue. Ah! Whew. I'll have to take my eraser to that. Well, actually, I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to use that end now instead. Since I dropped it and I have glue right there. Okay, there's that. Now let me lay these back out really quick. Yeah, I'm going to do this end one. Now you certainly could measure, but you don't need to. You really don't. So Drew wants me to make him a sympathy card today for a friend of ours that is a 49ers fan. I'm like, really? Why? Because if you didn't watch the game over the weekend, the 49ers got their butts kicked by the Eagles, which we kind of thought was going to happen. But boy, they really fell apart, honestly. But anyway, I was happy with the results myself. I am not a 49ers fan. Never have been. So I was glad they weren't going to the Super Bowl again. Now, I ended up with more of a gap in the center than I wanted, but it's okay. Actually, when I turn it this way, you can't really tell. There we go. You're not going to be able to tell once you get everything done. So we're going to put this here, and I die cut this here, and we're just going to stamp hello, and I'm going to put ribbon behind it. So on this one, I used the hello from the Happy Labels die. I just want to, there we go. I wanted to make sure I'm not going to have anything halo effect. Sorry, you're going to see. There we go. There's that. And then we're going to just add a piece of ribbon behind here. And I just did this kind of fold. And I'll trim it down here as soon as I get it on here. There we go. And then we'll put some dimensionals. Now, this is what always bothers me. I put a little glue dot behind there if you've got that ribbon popping up just a little bit right there, just to hold that dimensional down. It's just a little pet peeve of mine. You don't have to, but it's nice to have it like stay in place. Because like pulling this off now, there we go. Okay. There. Oops, missed one. And we're just going to plop that down right here, just like that. And then we will add, now I just put one little bling on this one. You could put as many as you want. I'm going to put the medium sized ones on here. There we go. Okay, there's our second card. Okay, card number 2. Done. Now, card number 3 is going to be this one here. So we're going to cut a piece of DSP at 3 by 4.5, and then you're going to do your blending. Now you could do your blending all at the beginning and blend just a whole bunch of stuff if you wanted. Now this note card, you're going to see I stamped from the first card on here, but I had the halo effect, so I just put it aside because then I'm just going to cover that up and nobody's going to know it's there. So what we're going to do, again, easy peasy simple. Just going to use glue. We're just going to glue down our piece of DSP to our balmy blue layer. Now this, you could die cut. I think when I did the green, I did die cut. I don't know why I didn't do it here. You can die cut this piece out of the center of that. I did it on one of them. I don't know why I didn't do it when I was putting this together, but anyway. And then we're going to cover up my little mistake there, just like that. Okay. Then on this one, I stamped the It's Your Day, which is from a stamp set I actually hadn't pulled out. I bought this one to like make my own little calendar things, which didn't do it yet. But it's got some great words in it. So I was happy to like pull out the It's Your Day because I thought that is a great phrase. I wish I had like looked through there and found it before. There we go. And then we're just going to layer this. Now this time I put this down flat, and then the It's Your Day is popped up with dimensionals. You could do it either way. You could do both. Doesn't matter. Okay, this will go here. And then we're going to add some dimensionals here. And I didn't put any ribbon on this one. You certainly could. And then this just goes here in the center, just like that. And again, bling. Gotta bling it up. Here, I'm gonna pull out this sheet. Like I said, I've been, excuse me, trying to use up, and I'm gonna use the little ones again. I think I put that on just a little crooked. Nice thing about a circle is we can fix it. There. Put that there. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. I just got these running everywhere because I have so many in here that are just parts and pieces of them. Okay. So there's our next one. I actually like the Balmy Blue much better, so I think that's what color I'll probably go with, but this way you are getting to see both. Okay, our last one is that cute little cutaway where I cut the little strip off. So we're going to cut off 1 inch. That's what I thought. And again, I did the same thing. I thought it was too light. I needed to re-ink my ink pad. Oh, shoot. I put the wrong one on here. Well, actually, nope. I'm going to make it work. I'm going to just slide it over just a little bit. There we go. So it's going to work. So what we're going to do first... Oh, maybe it'll work. I got to cut off 1 inch. No, let me grab another one. This one's not going to work for that, but that's okay. I'll use it someplace else. All right, so let's cut off. So here's a different one. I'll use that somewhere else or with something. So all we're going to do is cut 1 inch off. And you don't have to do this part. I just felt like it was just a different way to add a little something different to the note card, which is always nice to do. And let's burnish it really good because remember, these score lines are not very dark. And we are just going to add this to this, and then we're going to add some ribbon. So let's add our piece of DSP in just a second. I'll tell you what size it is too. So our DSP, I think it's like 2 inches. Yep. 2 by 4.5. So then our Balmy Blue is 2 1/4 by 4 3/4. Yes. Just wanted to make sure. Okay, now we're just going to add adhesive here so we can add a piece of ribbon and wrap it around. And here's our ribbon. So we're just going to do this. Well, we're going to try and put it in the center, Debbie. Okay, there we go. And then this is just going to go on here. And then I stamped the thank you, and this is from the Something Fancy bundle. I like that little thank you. And we're going to, excuse me, add this to our circle. And this time I turned my hexagon. Hexagon? Yeah, 2, 4, 6. Yeah, hexagon. Different shape. Either way works. Just changes it up a little. Then let's add some dimensionals because we love our dimensionals. And I think I put the dimensionals in the wrong spot. Let me see where I'm at here. Nope. I don't like to put dimensionals in the center where the ribbon is for the most part, because I feel like then you have to either put a glue dot underneath because it just pulls the ribbon up. So that's why I always kind of try to look at where I'm at. I'm going to put this down here towards the bottom because we want to pull in this ribbon. And tie our little half knot. Trim it up. Trim it up. There we go. And there's the last card. So here's the cards. I'm going to bring them in, and then well, real quick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a piece. Let me see if I have a piece that's colored that'll fit. No. I want to do an envelope for you, but I might be running out of strips. Okay. We will do, yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to add some ink to this one. I thought maybe I had some left over, but I don't. Okay, and I always start with the Balmy Blue. And honestly, I probably could have just kept it at Balmy Blue and not even added the Tahitian Tide, but it's nice to have another color kind of blend in with it. There we go. Okay. Now, you'll do this to any like leftover strips. All they have to do is be wide enough here to fit here. And you want to do it for each envelope. And then if you have a strip left over, you can add a strip to the inside. Don't overdo it with your adhesive. Line it up to your fold line there of the envelope. Give it a few minutes, let it dry, and then we're going to trim it. So let's see here. I'm going to see if I had any more. But remember, you could always take a strip. Let me see here. Here. And we could add a strip to the inside if you wanted to decorate it, or you could add it to this side, or you can leave it plain. You know, anything goes. So if you have strips left over, definitely add them to the inside. Okay, let me get my scissors here. Paper scissors, not ribbon scissors. I just give it a little minute or so just to so the glue dries. It really doesn't take that long. And we just trim around here. And there we go. There's our beautiful little envelope already done. It's so pretty. And this piece was wide enough. See, I could straighten this out and I'd have a couple strips there. So there we go. So here's our cards. Let me bring them all back in for you to see. And there's our envelope. So here's the other one. Here, I'll do it like this. I'm going to fan them out for you. There's the Tahitian Tide. You're going to get it in Balmy Blue. I can already tell. I really like how the Balmy Blue looks better than the Tahitian Tide layer. I just feel like I like it better. Okay, there you go. And there's our little cards that fit inside our envelope here. So this is the Tahitian Tide one. And here's our Balmy Blue one. All right. Hopefully you liked this little project. Now to let you know, so in this pack, there's 12 sheets and you get, let's see, what is it? Oh, 2 of 6 double-sided pieces. The back sides are not foil, the front sides are. And I only have, so I've made 3 of these and I have some scraps still left over. but I only have 1, 2, 3 full sheets left. And then like about 4 half sheets and then some scraps. So I could probably make 2 more of these like this and use up most of it. But these are just quick, easy, and kind of, they're actually fun. I mean, I love this fun fold. As you guys all know, we've used it a lot. I try not to overuse some of the ones I really like, but I thought this was a great one to bring back. But I like it when we can come up with a some kind of holder or bag or something that doesn't require a whole lot of cutting or adhesive, like I said at the beginning. But anyway, I hope you like the bonus class this time. I feel like this is a great way to use this paper that you wouldn't have thought of. And I probably will try and come up with a few more other cards just to show out there using this paper and maybe some other color combinations. But I felt this was really awesome. Anyway, thank you, ladies. See you again next time. Bye.